The disclaimer for the Pick a Topic with Sam and Guest show. The opinions aired on this chat show are not necessarily the views of the presenter. The information on this chat show is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. All content, including text, graphics, images, and information contained on or available through this chat show are for general information purposes only. This chat show makes no representation and assumes no responsibility for the accuracy of information on or available through this chat show, and such information is subject to change without notice. You are encouraged to confirm any information obtained from or through this chat show with other sources and review all information regarding any medical condition or treatment with your physician. Some brilliant guests tonight.
The reason why we are on lockdown has nothing to do with the fact of building our immune system.
Try something else for a bit, then stop. So they've been using us all as guinea pigs.
What I will do differently now is that I won't feel like I haven't got a voice because I'm not Black.
Everybody's going to be dead at the same time.
I have never spoken about Black on Black because it's a nonsense, because most crimes are committed by non-Blacks.
Let that child go to school and come back with anything and see me.
Puffy, sallow and reactive skin. Are you in need of a facial, threading, manicure, pedicure, or massage to help detox or enhance immune system? G-Zone Massage, Health and Beauty Therapies address all of these issues and more. Contact goz5@aol.com for further details and prices.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Wesker and I am a writer. I've written 3 novels, and as I've been in the music industry since 1981, it won't surprise you to know that all of my novels are based in the music industry. All 3 novels are available now via Amazon, and I hope you'll buy one and enjoy it.
Aspen. Hi guys, it's Aspen Olsen here. Just wanted to tell you that my new book, Through the Eyes of a Teenager, is out to download now on Amazon. You can download the Kindle version or you can order the paperback. Bye!
Welcome to the Pick a Topic with Sam and Guest show. So today we're going to be covering a few topics. They're going to be what's in the news as well as just a few other things that other people have brought up that they'd like to discuss. And our co-host today is the lovely Julie Payne. I just want to see if Julie Payne is with us. I believe she is. So let's just get her on with us. 1 second. Hi, Julie. How you doing? Let's unmute you. Bear with me.
Myself, thank you very much. Here I am, baby. Good evening, sir.
Seal delivered. I'm yours. Okay.
That's the Christmas show taken care of.
Exactly. Before we get done for copyrights.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
Okay. So anyway, so how you been today, Julie? Have you been enjoying the lovely weather?
it's been really, really nice. A bit hot and sticky, but I daren't complain because we don't get enough of it. So bring it on.
Exactly. Well, Julie, you know, you're multi-talented. I've had you on this show quite a few times, but I've never really had a chance to, you know, let the viewers know who Julie Payne is. And you're a brilliant actress, number one. Oh, yes, you are. Come on now. I came and watched you in Hackney Empire doing that show with Oliver. Do you remember that one? Wow.
Yes, I do. I can't remember the title of it.
It doesn't matter. You're also an excellent singer. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
You sang with Soul to Soul, didn't you?
Well, I learned from you because you're an excellent teacher. There you go. Now
Bless you.
One another's backs.
Okay. And you don't stop there. You've written a book. What's the book called?
A Singer's Guide to Getting Work. Maybe I should read it.
You've got so many strings to your bow, Julie. And not to forget, for, you know, last but not least, you're also an excellent host.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. A woman of many, many different talents. And tonight, you're co-hosting with me, and it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me, Sam.
You know, Jules, the thing is I know you're not on Facebook a lot, but I am, and most of the panel that are here tonight, they are, so they may have an idea more of what I'm speaking about. But I found that I think social media in a way has somehow stopped us from well, not me, because I think I know how to debate, but it's like, have we lost the art of debate? You know, because people tend to argue.
No, I don't think so, Sam. I think if anything, there are more debates than ever going on, albeit on social media. I mean, people are still communicating, putting across their opinions. Everybody's an expert of some, you know, everybody's got a theory. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, but I don't think we've lost the art of debate. Not at all. You know what I mean?
You think so? You see, I mean, Lindsay is someone who may understand what I mean, because I know you're not on Facebook a lot or social media. And in our circle, we're very good at debating, you know. However, believe me, I think when it comes to social media, I seriously do think that we've lost the art of debate. Lindsay, what would you say about that?
Well, I mean, social media allows us to debate. I mean, if you want to have a decent conversation, you can. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people, I don't know, they struggle with the concept of somebody disagreeing with them, and it's like, why should that be a problem? I express opinions, people come back at me and say, no, you're wrong, I disagree with you, and it really isn't a problem, and it shouldn't be a problem.
No.
You know, why would I want an entire circle of friends who agree with every word I say?
Absolutely.
I mean, I only have to say to you entanglement, and that's like you.
Let's not go there.
But we don't tend to hurl insults at each other. On Facebook, it seems like people start hurling insults at people when they disagree. For instance,
childish people do. Childish people do. Adults can have a decent conversation, you know. I mean, you know, we are civilized people. We sit around a table, we break bread, we have conversations, we argue, and we kiss and, you know, say goodbye and look forward to the next time we see each other. You know, it's I can't account for immature people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Claudette, sorry, Lindsay, sorry, my darling. Claudette, have you experienced any of that on social media?
Not really. Actually, to be honest with you, yeah, in a way, yes.
I thought so.
Because you know what? People are now using emojis more than words. you know, thumbs up, hearts, smiles. People are using that more than words. So yeah, I think to a certain extent there is less conversation. I must admit, negativity hasn't been targeted at me. I mean, who would really? But yeah, I think in a way it's so easy to just push a button, really, than to really make a comment and express how you feel.
I think it's hard to determine someone's emotion when you're using social media and text messages, and sometimes you have to throw in an emoji like, just, you know, I'm come in peace. It's just, you know, I'm just expressing an opinion, because Lindsay's right. Dare you disagree with someone and they just take it on the back foot and they get really negative and a bit nasty and whatever. But I think the good thing about it is that you can say something and then invite people, open it up and invite people to comment. So you get, oh, I didn't think of it that way. I didn't look at it in that regard. But the actual art of debating, I still think it's there, Sam. Sometimes it's in the form of a song or a rhyme or, you know, pictures or emojis, like, but it is still there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's one of the subjects that we're going to be discussing today. I'm sure other people are going to have quite a bit to say about it. Julie, you had a topic that you wanted to raise, didn't you?
Well, I've just heard, how could I avoid it really? But there was a lot in the news over the last couple of days about the school children, not all school children, some schools, some colleges, university, getting their results today and them being quite disappointed with them. And as the debates went on, it seemed to be the thing where it was a postcode lottery, which might determine how good your grades were, because apparently the students who they spoke to, the grades that they were given by their tutors were one thing, quite good. Then once they got their results today, they were really, really marked down quite considerably. Wow. So till it affected their chances of getting into university.
Wow.
Some were given conditional offers, but a lot of them are going to appeal.
Okay, do you know, I'm gonna, Lindsay and Claudia, I'm gonna ask this, I'm gonna put you back to attendees. I'm gonna ask this to Herbie Lewis, who's joining us any minute now. Well, Julie's gonna ask Herbie.
Well, Herbie, I know it was a long time since you were a student, but what do you think the system is fair for the students who, you know, considering what they've been through, their studying came to a halt in March. Are we echoing for some reason? Can you hear us? Okay. So their studies came to a halt in March, and most of them were subjected to online studying, maybe with a tutor from time to time, and worked really hard, and they got predicted grades. But yet when it's all come to light now, the grades that they've ended up with are considerably lower than their predicted grades. And furthermore, it seems like this might be pertinent to where they live.
I think you really need to.
Okay, we need to turn down the volume of one of the microphones.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna bring
Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna bring on Ruth.
Where's it gone?
I'm just wondering. Okay, so we'll have to. There we go. Okay, Ruth. Sorry. you could hear what we were talking about while you were an attendee, and we're asking you, well, Julie was asking you what you thought about the exam results with young people.
Right, as I understand it, the government has come up with what do they call it, a triple lock. I watched Newsnight last night, so it was covered. They had a student that was actually complaining because some of the results that were being received, I think it's actually for exams that were cancelled, so where they didn't actually take exams, so they would have to use. I'm not sure if it was an algorithm that they used, but I certainly think that, I don't know so much that it's where you, depending on where you live, I think it's more to do with how people study, because on the show last night, someone was, the young lady, I cannot recall her name, she was actually saying that because when you come from a poorer background, I think it's more to do with class than to where you live, although there's probably a correlation. So what she was saying is that when you've got other things going on and you don't have the education where you're pushed to make sure that you do certain things by a certain time. Normally, your mock exams, when you did your mocks, you use that as a idea for saying how much you need to work and how much you need to do. You shouldn't be taking the results from what happened in your mocks as a guideline to how well you do, because a lot of people, they cram afterwards to get themselves up to speed. So it was more to do with how people have studied for their exams. Some people are sort of lastminute.com, and what it means is that when they're deciding what grades you have, they may not be taking that into account. And what they found is that most people that were likely to be cramming at the end or having difficulties studying and would have to work hard towards the end to try to make sure that they did well.
Do you think it would have been
a poorer background?
Do you think it would have been a better idea then for them to maybe allow them to do it at a later date? And did I not hear something about them saying that there's some students that's going to have a choice of doing it at a later date?
Well, I think they're looking at different options. So I think that what they were saying, they're trying to say, use the result that's the highest coming from estimated grades. So that's would have been from the teachers, mocks, or if they did exams or if they want to do exams in the autumn. So I think that what it is, they had a few measures that the government was coming up with, and they said that it wasn't fair because the timings, it didn't give people enough time to prepare. So if you get your results in August, and then you've got to do your exams in September, for argument's sake, and then that's too late for uni. So I think from what I recall, the government was trying to see whether they could get the universities to not throw somebody off because they didn't get the grade, and to wait, put some measures in place so that they might give them the opportunity to defer. So what that means is that they would be going to uni a year later or a term later.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, that's not unheard of, because some people you're able to start courses later. So but it still is not good, and it's not fair, because it means that either you lose out a year or you have not insufficient time to prepare.
Right.
And because nothing is confirmed, so actually the students don't have any kind of comfort in knowing that this is what's going to happen. It's all up in the air. So I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's something that they should have looked at before. Realistically, if it was their children that were going to be adversely affected, they would have had some better measures in place.
Okay. All right. Julie, do you have anything else to ask on that? Or do you want to go to your next topic?
Unmute. I think overall, yes, Ruth elaborated on the subject, and the bottom line is the sense that I got from all the interviews and from the students is that it was just grossly unfair. You know what I mean? It was grossly unfair. But I think, generally speaking, everybody should remember that this was a year that, you know, 2020 was impacted on everything. The virus impacted on everything, including education. So I think there needs to be a little flexibility, a little bit of leniency, and the opportunity to, you know, maybe resit or readdress.
I think so.
But it's ridiculous that they were marked down so low from the teachers' predicted grades. You know, that's 2 years of study practically. That's just,
sorry, Jules, I don't think they should have been allowed to do a predicted anything. I think they should have just allowed them to resit
that's normal,
it.
Sam. That's normal. Predicted teachers predicting the grades are normal. You know what I mean?
So
and students
when they take their exams, it's not, because when they take their exams, it's the results of their exams.
Of course, but what I'm saying is
that they shouldn't be allowed to predict anything in the sense of they should be allowed to resit their exams, is my thoughts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is predicted grades is a normal thing. It's a normal thing that teachers do, and students go and start applying for colleges based on their predicted grades, and then hopefully it all comes right in the end. But this is,
I didn't know that, but then you used to work in a school, so you would know about predicted.
Yeah.
You know, but still, at the end of the day, I do think that when they sit down to do their exams, that's what is the telltale sign, like Ruth was saying, because some people cram it in right at the end, so that they can remember stuff. And
but Sam, you see the thing with the exams, I used to see students terrified and whatever, but do you think exams should be abolished altogether? Because isn't it just about how much you can remember in that 2-hour period? You know what I mean?
Know what? You make a valid point, actually.
You know, it doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing or you don't know your stuff. It's just a memory game, isn't it?
Let's see if we've got Herbie again with us. Because he got cut off due to technical. Okay, we've got Herbie with us. Okay, so Herbie, what was your take on it? And I love that point that you just said, Julie. Should we have exams at all?
Yeah.
Oh, where did he go? Where did he go? Bear with me. Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, you do only retain a certain amount of what you've learned throughout the 2 years, right? So Herbie, what do you think about that?
I believe in doing the exams, and it's not all about retaining in the last 2 hours or 1 week before you actually took your exams. It's the sort of steady Eddie person that just keeps drilling in information in their heads are the ones that do well. You have the one exceptional person who can swat the night before and get it all right. But it proves something to employers, especially grades and everything like that. So you're talking about not taking any exams. So from an employer's perspective, how do you gauge who's the best person for the task or job? You go by grades. And then there's some that can retain the knowledge once they've read a book or read a summary or something, and then they can move on. Some people have to read it 100 times. That's normally reflected in the grades that they've got. Yeah, it's just where you are. We're all different people. We all understand different things at different times in our lives. So I believe in the exams. I think you're a bit hard on the actual government. They had to do something. If you held them back and say, take it next year, that will be an argument. Whatever thing, process they brought to the table to assume what actual grades you were going to get, someone would have been disappointed.
Well, the thing is, Herbie, is what I'm saying is that I think that at the end of the day, you are supposed to sit in exam, and that's what everyone's worked their way up to do. So I don't think that they should have abolished the exams. I think they should have moved it later. I think that's the most sensible thing to do, rather than just cut it. We can't do that now, and just move on, will ya? Do you know what I mean? No.
It's still arduous because, again, we're coming up to the 6-week holidays, which we're in now. The next minute, you have to then go to either college, uni, whatever. They need those grades. When was they going to do it?
Then wouldn't it have been a better idea to say you need to work through your 6-week holiday and do your exams?
That's a possibility. At a cost, obviously.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a bigger cost when they are not actually getting the actual grades that they would have got if they sat the exam.
Well, the
and
same
that's
thing
about
that
their whole life.
You came back to the mock exams, the mocks. You should be doing or trying to do your best right the way through, not coast it to the mocks and then go, oh, I need to work harder, or you know, or I need to pick my socks up. So I just believe you should just keep trying for your best every time.
Yeah, but it's not always that, Herbie. Some people, like, take for instance myself, and I use myself as an example, and I'll use my driving theory test as an example. For me, I've got a thing which I call short-term memory. So I can, when it comes to remembering things from a child, I remember that. But if I'm studying, I need to, the night before especially, I need to go over everything and get that in my brain. And that's the only way I'm going to remember. It doesn't matter if I've done 2 years of studying. So it's not about not putting your best in at the mocks. It's about people are different. And so therefore, what happens to those people who are like me with short-term memory and needs to get it all in for the actual exam, you know, right before the exam?
Well, you say that, but there are loads and loads of processes of trying to remember. Yeah, there's loads of different ways that you can actually, skills and tools you can use to remember rather than trying to cram it in the night before. And I think that's the way I would be directing somebody.
Yeah, you have to do a certain amount of work. Otherwise, no matter how much you cram it in, it's not going to go in. I'm literally saying, like, for Julie, help me out here, because there's different ways of learning, different ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
I can't remember the term, kinetic.
There's visual learning. People learn differently. It's true. Yeah. It's true. And I understand what you're saying, Sam. And there are a lot of people who it's not a condition. I don't want to make it sound like it's
it's not. It's just the way
you're
you're wired.
But people learn in different ways. And for some, the whole exam process is great, and it's you know, they get through it. And for others, it's just the most terrifying event ever. Do you know what I mean? But you know, you both present good arguments. But I do think, especially with what's gone on this year, you know, and you know what someone said as well, the answers that you might use, they always refer back to algebra for some reason. Once you've answered that question in the exam, it never ever comes up again in your lifetime. For some reason you still have to do it, and there you have it.
Well, okay, you know what, I think we've spoken with everyone, and I just want to bring everyone back in the room. We have got some people in the attendees. We've got Jordan Bailey and we've got Zetia. If you want to have a say on anything, then please feel free. If you're in attendees and you want to come and have a say, feel free. You're more than welcome.
Sam, can I just make a quick point that's come up in the chat room?
Yeah.
That Ruth made, actually. She said predictive grades are subjective because, you know, it could be that the teacher dislikes you and therefore they'll mark you down, and that is very true.
Yeah.
It's not professional, but it's true.
I think we're grabbing at straws here. You know, it's just
No, it
it's
happens,
the teacher hates you. They've got obligation to teach. Yes, we all have had bad experiences with a teacher, but they don't go home and then go, right, I'm going to make that person, you know, not pass their exams and what for. You know, very, very few occasions maybe that what Ruth said was right, but please.
Sam,
teachers.
Sam, there's a couple of quite controversial aspects to this whole conversation that I think are really going to come up on social media in the next few days. I mean, it's kind of being hinted that you know, it's secondary school pupils who've had their marks downgraded, but not private school pupils.
Oh wow!
Which obviously throws up a lot of problems. I mean, on my Twitter feed this evening, you know, there was somebody saying, oh, no, I've spoken to one of my friends who was at a private school and his marks were downgraded as well. So I think they're going to try and, you know, squash that story. The other interesting thing is something that the Education Secretary, Gavin Williamson, said, you know, how can you downgrade these exam results? How can you do that? And his quote was, the danger is that pupils will get over promoted into jobs that are beyond their competence.
Oh, wow.
Basically saying it would be lunacy to allow these children to get good grades, because then they get good jobs and they're clearly not capable of doing these good jobs.
That's happening anyway.
Claudia, what you were trying to say something. Let me hear what you got to say.
Well, it was about Herbie and Ruth's comments.
Debate.
Lindsay and I both work in education. Well, I have worked in education. Lindsay's still doing it, and so I understand the comment about teachers. Some teachers could do that. It's not professional to do it, but our son, it actually happened to our son. A lecturer that didn't like him went away and didn't mark a paper which was crucial.
Sorry, Claudia, I can hear something in the background. Have you got something turned up? No? Okay, carry on, please.
It was crucial to him getting into university, and the lecturer went and just didn't mark his paper, and he did it on purpose. Wow. I know he completely did it on purpose, because I made Werner, when Werner handed it in, I made him call me, because I was teaching at the same time, so I knew all the, you know, all the ropes, or you know, the roles of the teachers. I knew what everyone had to do, and I knew what he had to do, so I made him call me. And I was teaching at the time, and I said, I don't care that I'm teaching. I want you to call me when you give it in, because I know he was having trouble with that lecturer. And the man left. Wow. And did not mark my son's paper.
Wow. Well, look, you know, at the end of the day, people, we're all human, and to say or to think that just because it's a teacher and they're adults, they're not going to do something like that it's you know, because it does happen. It does happen. Yeah, it does. I do want to bring something else into the equation here, and I am moving on to something else, and that is, has everyone heard about the coronavirus UK death toll falling by 5,377 people, because the government has decided to change the way they are now counting the deaths. So initially, if you had a coronavirus test and you were positive, and then you recovered, but then you walked down the road 6 months later and got hit by a bus, they put you down as dying from coronavirus. Yeah. Now they're saying within 28 days, if you die having had coronavirus, it has to be within a 28-day window. And my understanding is that that's the way it goes for every other operation. Why would they have not done that in the first place? What are they trying to portray? Do they think everyone wanted to hear all these people were dying from this thing? What were they doing?
Scaremongering, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. Scaremongering.
Ruth, I know. Go on, Ruth.
You
Go
know
on.
my view on this. You know my view on this.
I even know what you call it now, the pandemic. Go on.
The pandemic. Yeah. The thing is that I've had family members that were dying. They had something that they were dying from, and then they died from it. And they weren't ever tested for coronavirus, but yet their death certificate said coronavirus. COVID. So the point is that as far as I understand, there was something that said that if you died from something that could have been attributed to COVID, then they would. So irrespective of whether they tested you to see whether you had it or not. And remember, not everybody was tested. So people over a certain age were not tested for coronavirus.
They were just marked down.
Yeah.
I knew when it was going on. One of my close friends' sisters is a nurse, and she said that that's what was happening. If people were being, I think you just had to be in the presence of somebody. If you were in the same ward as somebody, and they had coronavirus, you might have died of cancer. They were still going to say it was to do with the COVID. So I've heard this for a long time now. It is scaremongering. They would. I feel they're trying to get everyone to get in line, so that they could push through new regulations, new laws, to justify what they're doing.
They're changing the laws already. They've changed things, and because they've lost a lot of money through this coronavirus, that congestion charge that's been extended.
Exactly.
All sorts of got to try to get the kids from free bus passes and travel. They're looking at that because monetary wise, they've been affected big time, and that's why we know that a lot of people are in furlough and a lot of people are going to be made redundant, and we're officially in a recession now. It's official, and that's going to sort of cause mayhem out there.
We've been in a recession since Brexit, my love.
But I don't think the government really thought it would have, the death toll would have been as great as what it was. And just like with a lot of other countries, they didn't really take it that serious until it started creeping up. So they were quite happy to count. Yeah, they didn't realize it was going to keep going and going. Then they were like, whoa, let's change the way we count. Let's try and reduce it, and I think that's where they were.
You know, Herbie, I don't want to go on to the vaccines for too long, but because I know that you've got a bit of a hand to do, if I'm right, with the vaccines. I mean, what stage are they at with this thing? Because I've got to be honest.
You say the stage.
I for one, I'm not too. You know my stance on this vaccine thing. I'm really not going to be one of those people. I'm not. But,
the Russians have it. The Russians have the virus. There's just like there was a race to space, there was a race.
You mean the vaccine?
The vaccine. Sorry, not the virus. Yeah, they've got the virus too. You never know. But yes, there's been a race for it, and I mean, I work for Imperial College, so they're doing loads of work. So, as you know, with the Imperial Advisory, even though he went walkies with his travel when he said to everyone stay at home. But we are still working out here. I mean, I just support the labs, whatever they're doing in there. I really don't know, but they're on it constantly.
Okay, I've got to ask you, Herbie. I have to ask you, and this is only going to you. Would you take the vaccine first?
Would I take? Well, we had free tests at our place, and I didn't take it. But I will not be taking no vaccine first. Just like what anybody says, if there's a new car out there, you don't run and buy the new one. You wait for the next model to come out because there's always teething problems, and there will be with this. And no, I feel as fit as a fiddle. I would be taking a vaccine. I just me ginger and lemon.
Yeah, for real. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the PPE. Right? The government bought 50 million face masks, which couldn't be used. It's estimated that the masks cost 150 million. 150 million.
For how many?
for 50 million face masks.
The problem is, Sam.
Now
that
the thing is, if
changing.
they could have used that, sorry, Herbie, they could have used that for extra furlough. That could have turned things around. Sorry, Herbie.
Why couldn't they use them, Sam? Why
because
couldn't they use them?
they were defected. Apparently, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think they were meant to get the ones where the loop goes around the head and not around the ears, because the ones that go around the ears are not as sufficient, or something like that. Is that right? Was you agreeing with
Well,
me?
there's one with the ears, because people are complaining about them being sore, where it fits more snugly around the back of your head. But
yeah.
The criteria of the mask were changing all the time. So even at my workplace, we brought masks. Yes, and then the health and safety came down and said, right, those are not the right masks now. So it's easily done, because at this panic, you can get toilet paper, let alone a mask.
Hold on.
Yeah. So everyone was rushing to get the PPEs.
Hold
But now
on
one of the
minute,
best things is the visor, because it's a lot easier.
Just one second, because the government have got direct access to the health advisors and all the rest of it and blah, 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 right? You know things are changing left, right and centre. First of all, why did you go and buy 50 million? First of all.
It was probably a knee-jerk reaction, wasn't it?
No, but if you look at it logically, I mean, these are the kind of people that's running our country. Logically, it's like you got a baby, but which you know is always changing. Are you going to go and buy 50 million nappies for that baby in one size?
No.
No.
But you know,
Your Honour, I rest my case.
You know what is the funny thing? They had 50 million, and yet they didn't say to themselves whether or not it was the correct model, or if it was good enough or efficient enough. Is neither here nor there, because the whole point is that 99.9% of any masks are not efficient, or sufficient. So therefore, why didn't they give them out? Why weren't they sending them out for people, so that people that may not have the money to buy masks could get free masks, so that any kind of assistance would have helped? But no, they prefer now to say,
throw them away.
Throw them away, and then they complain about infection rates creeping back up, or in some places jumping back up, but they're not doing anything to help the common man out on the road. And what is hilarious is that the people, or the places where the figures are jumping up, are the people who are in the most deprived areas. So it is, to me, it is symptomatic of the type of government we have.
You know, before we go to the commercial break, Lindsay, do we have anything on YouTube?
Yeah, we do. There's a young man who joined the show last week called Info Reclamation, who says they do downgrade. It happened to me.
Are we talking about schools?
Sorry, just going back to the downgrading of the exam results. He said even the teachers vote on students. You know, he said, yeah, they do downgrade. It happened to me.
What do you mean the teachers vote on students?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Julie, do you know anything about that? Do teachers vote on students?
It's not been my experience.
I want to know what was the catalyst, because if a teacher's going to be downgrading any child, is he just, I don't like you, or was there something that happened between the two? Why now the teacher hates me? Or
I feel that in my experience, when grades get changed, it's because the people marking it has most probably misunderstood the criteria, or misunderstood the aims that have been set, and they have marked up incorrectly because interpreted what the students meant to be achieving in the wrong way. That's been my experience. I've never experienced teachers, apart from what happened to my son, and he didn't mark it at all, but I've never experienced teachers being out and out malicious like that, really.
Okay.
And I feel that if there would be a reason for it, not like this though. This is completely a different thing. This is something that is widespread. It's not isolated in any way, and it seems like people are being targeted, or a social group of people are being targeted.
Okay. Claudette, thank you very much. Guys, we are going to go to the commercial break and we will come back to you. Ruth, please remember what it is that you were about to say and we'll come right back to you. Okay, so let's just quickly go over to the ads. My apologies, 1 second. Some brilliant guests tonight.
The reason why we are on lockdown has nothing to do with the fact of building our immune system.
Try something else for a bit, then stop. So they've been using us all as guinea pigs.
What I will do differently now is that I won't feel like I haven't got a voice because I'm not Black.
Everybody's going to be dead at the same time.
I have never spoken about Black on Black because it's a nonsense, because most crimes are committed by non-Blacks.
Let that child go to school and come back with anything and see me.
Puffy, sallow and reactive skin. Are you in need of a facial, threading, manicure, pedicure or massage to help detox or enhance immune system? G-Zone Massage Health and Beauty Therapies address all of these issues and more. Contact goz5@aol.com for further details and prices.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Wesker and I am a writer. I've written 3 novels, and as I've been in the music industry since 1981, it won't surprise you to know that all of my novels are based in the music industry. All 3 novels are available now via Amazon, and I hope you'll buy one and enjoy it.
Aspen. Hi guys, it's Aspen Olsen here. Just wanted to tell you that my new book, Through the Eyes of a Teenager, is out to download now on Amazon. You can download the Kindle version or you can order the paperback. Bye!
Okay, so we're back after the break. I promised that we would go straight back to Ruth, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Bear with me, please.
Hello, good evening, I'm back. Oh, really, what I was just going to say is my point was about subjectivity. So what I was talking about with the grades was that if you're talking about a teacher grading you, it all depends on, as someone was saying, on the criteria that they're using. So I mean, I wasn't just saying that suppose they dislike you, because that's just one of the many things that it could be. But the whole point of relying on somebody, particularly who knows you well, and it means that it's subjective, it's not objective, and that's what you want when somebody's marking an exam paper. And that's all I was saying.
Okay, all right. Lindsay, is there anything else going on YouTube before we move on?
Yeah, there is. Our friend Info Reclamation says, and a teacher even threw away my PGCE level 4 paper. I now have my PGCE. But I mean, he's kind of saying that he was kind of discriminated against on a sort of racist level. So that's kind of different to the subject we're talking about now, the downgrading of the exam marks. I mean, I think there was a kind of a personal problem between he and his teacher.
Yeah, most probably.
But that could work both ways, couldn't it, Sam? Because
yeah, it definitely can.
You could, your teacher might like you and grade you up a little bit more than, was everybody disappointed with the grades that they got today?
That's a very, very, very good question. And I think we will leave it there because you are absolutely correct. Teacher's pet, teacher's pet and all. But anyway, look, I want to move on to something else. This was something that someone brought up last week, and I said, yes, I would cover it. So, is respect more important than love? Ooh. What would you say, Jules?
In a relationship?
In a relationship or in just any relationship, really. But I'm asking more to do with in a relationship.
Is respect more important than love? Yes, it is.
Okay. Yes, why would you say that? Is it not balanced? Is it not
no.
Is it no?
So first of all, I respect myself. That's first and foremost. And then when I open up that respect to a partner, that is absolutely the fundamental, most important thing in a relationship. However, the initial retraction, the initial kind of getting together might be based on, I love the look of him, I love his swag, I love his hair, I love whatever. But when we get into it now, we need to establish that respect pretty much from the get-go. But that will obviously come from me, because do you see what I mean? You have to, my thing is, if I was trying to like some of those girls I used to talk to in school, and they're trying to roll up the skirt to be shorter than it was, and tie the blouse up and wear the tie different and whatever. I'm like, girls, you're beautiful as you are. You don't need to, tear open your chests and roll up your skirts in order to be attracted to another guy, to the boys. You want the boys to respect you, and they will not respect you like this. Samantha's respect is absolutely, what's love got to do? What's love got to do with it, man? Respect.
Yeah, you see, the thing is that if I was talking from my young view, as a younger person, the younger me, I used to think that love was the all and everything and blah blah blah. But now, I certainly recognize the fact that respect has to come before absolutely anything else. I mean, you see, I'll go on to this subject with this very quickly, just to go off on a bit of a tangent. The N-word was used on the news the other day, okay? And the news sanctioned it and said it was okay. All right. Now, look, as far as I'm concerned, because there are some Black people who use the N-word quite freely and, willy-nilly, it's not looked upon or frowned upon in the way that I believe it should be frowned upon. And anyone can argue with me over that. That's my stance on it, because I honestly don't believe that we can be using a word and then tell other people that you can't use it, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's true. So how does that...
So what I'm saying is, respect-wise, we first have to respect ourselves.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, there's no way we can get anybody else to just voluntarily respect us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because eventually people are going to start walking all over you.
Yeah.
If you don't have no respect for yourself.
It's true. So Herbie, could I ask your opinion on that? I mean, we'll move right round the panel. But you're the next in my.
I echo your thoughts, Julie. I echo your thoughts with respecting oneself first. That's fundamental to anybody, and it's knowing oneself. And it takes a long time for someone to know themselves. And that's why when you're very young and you meet people, you don't know yourself, and then you're meeting somebody else to try and get to know them. And you need to learn about yourself. And I think more emphasis should be based on that, to know yourself, what your likings are. And then you might meet someone who's like-minded like you. But respect, yes, is the main thing. And then love comes up and down within that relationship, where you yearn for someone, then you just can't stand them for a bit, and the next minute you're wondering where they are and so forth. And it's just a pendulum going up and down. And then sometimes you might just look at them and you think like, cool, yeah, we like that one day, you know, I'll pick someone good, you know? And you just look at them and just think, yeah. So love and respect, yes, it's a nice amalgamation of both, but respect ultimately first.
Okay, Claudette.
I think respect is very, very important to me. I don't even want you to talk to me unless you have respect for me. There's not a lot of people that I don't talk to, but the 2 or 3 people that I've said, you know what, I can't be dealing with you, it's because they don't fundamentally put respect first. And I don't think
what do you call respect in the sense of, would it be okay for your fella, Mr. Lindsay Winsey, to come up to you and say, you're all right, my bitch? Well, they do it in rap records, don't they?
No, well, this is it.
Okay, well, what about we are after Watershed, aren't we? You could, or would he be allowed to say, oh, you're my hoe, man?
No. Because I feel that it opens the floodgates to other. I feel that one shouldn't even really, well, bitch can be used in jest, but it can only be used in jest.
In jest, yeah.
You know, and for someone to even use it in jest, I feel they need to know you first. I feel people should approach people with respect. You shouldn't have to get to know somebody to be respectful.
Exactly.
Lead with respect. Exactly. And if you're brought up with respect, that's the way you're going to come to every new relationship. Yeah? And then it's up to you to then break things down.
Claudette, I feel like I've just rustled your...
But can I ask you something, Claudette? Do you see the point I was making earlier about the girls in school and them sort of altering their uniform and stuff like that? Do you think, even though I said that, is it fair to judge somebody by the way they
look? I did. I went to a girls' school, right? I went to.
There we go, John Kelly.
And I went to John Kelly, and I never, ever wound up my skirt. Never. In the cold, I would wear a something buttoned up to here. And you see these bad boys? I've always had them. So you know what? You don't need to do all that.
But those young girls think, you know, they want to be liked, they want to be favored, and they've just got the wrong idea.
They're mistaken. And the thing is that I feel that you need to love yourself. I was taught to love myself. And because I was taught to love myself, I didn't feel the need to do all that. Girl, I'm overweight and I still think I'm packing it.
But then you see, the thing is what I realize as well. Sorry, guys. What I realize as well is this. We've got all these derogatory names for the women, but then the men have got gangster or blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I mean, and even though those are not nice things, they're not putting them down, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even, like, if they come up to you and say, you okay, my hoe? What are you going to say? Yeah, my G. Come on. You know, it's not really, what's that all about?
Yeah, you're right. Men have got, they use words that elevate them, and they use words to put women down. Lindsay's got his arms folded at this point.
I'm fully happy.
You don't see that often on here. Lindsay, what's going on?
You really don't want to know.
I do.
What I call her. It's just sickly sweet.
Well, in the public, you call her trouble. I don't know what you call her behind doors.
Well, I mean, trouble is Cockney rhyming slang for trouble and strife. So trouble is just another word for wife.
For wife, yeah.
But we're sickly sweet, really. I mean, the terms of endearment we use would really bring vomit to the back of your throat.
Lindsay, sorry to cut you. That's so beautiful.
That's perfect.
However, what you might say behind closed doors, even if it was BITCH or ho or whatever, that's your business behind closed doors. The disrespect comes, I think, when you, like, if you called her that in our presence, or you referred to her. Can you imagine?
Those
all
words,
right, Claudette. No, we could.
Those words just aren't part of my vocabulary. I do not use those words.
Are they part of your sexual vocabulary?
No.
Prosecution.
Okay.
No.
Ruth, what are you saying?
Sorry, I'm still laughing.
What? We got to keep it,
I know. But for me, I agree with everybody, but I've always been taught that love transcends all. So I think that there can be respect without love, but I don't think there can be love without respect. And I think that's the thing for me. If you love somebody, I don't see how you can disrespect them.
Yeah.
Because if you disrespect them and if you disrespect yourself, then you don't have love for yourself or you don't have love for somebody else.
But then the thing is that some people don't think it's a disrespect at all because they hear it in music and it's the down thing to do, and do you know what I mean?
But
men that name calling.
Sorry, Ruth, what did you say there?
I said I'm not necessarily talking about name calling. It's not necessarily just name calling. It could be in anything.
In action.
Yeah, that's right.
And men that batter their wives. And
I think it happens both ways.
Women do it too. I'm not just saying that men do it. Women, people that batter their partners, they normally say, "Oh, it's because I love you. You're the only one who can drive me to this."
I think you can batter someone mentally as well, and that's where, I mean, we keep talking about men, but this is where the women come into it very strong. They can actually batter their men mentally and verbally. Yes, and just the tones of how they say things. So I pick up on a lot of tones, as I will always mention to Julie. How something is said, can make my eyebrows raise. But what you say? Yeah, you say, hang on now, I don't like the way you say that. But I'm one to tell you straight away, rather than mull on it, and the next minute it's 6 weeks down the line where you bring up 10 different things on top of what they've just broke the back.
Yeah.
And
you make a very valid point, Herbie, because I do find, I'm not saying that women are the sole perpetrators of this or anything like that, but women do tend to mentally get into their men's head. If you're that way inclined, they tend to do that. But there are some men who do that too. It works both ways, really.
Of course, it's a certain person, and like I said, communication is key. But you just have certain people who've just got something wrong with them, I would say, and no matter what relationships they're with, so a woman can blame herself, and then the gentleman goes with another person, and he behaves the same way. It's just the psyche in that person. It's just
Herbie, while we've got you speaking. And I really should have probably gone to Claudette on this one. And I'm going to. Claudette, this is your topic. And your topic was, is it acceptable to stay in touch with your ex? Even if there's no ties, meaning there's no children, there's no property, there's no nothing. Is it acceptable to stay in touch with your ex? This is the last topic for today. And then we are going to go to the break. Well, not the break, the commercials, and then we're going to end. We're going to try and finish closer to on time today. So, yes, Claudette, is it acceptable to stay in touch with your ex?
Well, I do. So I think it is perfectly acceptable. I think it's perfectly acceptable because if you have respect for yourself, respect for your relationship you're in, then there should be no problem. if you're going to cut off, if you're and if you have self-control, because obviously there was something between you and your ex, and if you still get on, then there's going to be a level of emotions that's still there.
But it depends on what in touch means. You know, you can like call and speak every so often, blah blah blah. But I mean, stay in touch. What did you mean? Stay in touch with your ex, like buddies, pals?
I mean buddies and pals. But then that goes to the whole. Some people saying, "Oh, but women and men can't be friends. There's always something there," and I don't believe that, because I believe that I can be friends with a man, friends with a woman, and that's all it is. That's all it is. It's just friendship. So therefore, I believe I can be in touch. I think it's safe and healthy to be in touch with exes. They really know you well. They most probably know you a bit better than your partner, or as well as your partner. Sometimes they can be found in woods.
I think that conversation is more. Women will say it's all right if I had me out with ex-boyfriend, you know, it's all good. But if it was a guy that had all these ex-girlfriends, I think it'd be a different conversation. Michelle, because of what you're mindful of how the person will behave,
darling,
or could behave.
Look at this face.
And that's what I would say.
I'm not.
You know? But I think it's
worried.
healthy, and the thing is why you can keep some relationships going is because if you're with a partner, ex-partner for X amount of years, you know their brother, their mother, the family. You're not just gonna go right, me done. Yeah, it just don't happen like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in this world, you meet and greet and see other people who are related all the time. So it's a good thing just to say hi, and it's not like you're meeting a person in front of your husband or your wife and you're not telling them. They know the story. Go, oh, that was my ex. They're not hiding it. Then there's an issue.
That's the key point. That is the key point. I think if you're open with the relationship that you've got with an ex, you know what I mean? Let's go into a room. Oh, this is so and so. You know, this is my ex. Okay, you know, there's no reason. Obviously, whoever you're with, they had a history. They've got history.
Not the strong handshake, you know, because there's that one where you meet my ex, it's like, yeah. The alpha male comes out.
Men are very possessive in the sense that, that as well. And it's like, you know, if two male exes meet, sort of thing. I mean, like the current partner and the ex-partner of a woman, say, there's this thing between them that
strong handshake.
Yeah, the strong handshake.
It's not the strong handshake. It could be that the guy might be chiseled and you've put on gained a couple of pounds. You know, like, but bloody hell, you know, sorry about language. You know, and the same thing with women. The women could be meeting and go, "This is my ex," and then they look at and go, "Oh my gosh, she's a beauty." Why are you with me?
You know what? I think it's very much, it all kind of falls back to this respect thing that we were speaking about. Exactly. And I think the minute you tried to hide the identity of that woman or that man, the true identity, is a problem. It needn't be.
It's funny. It's what my partner and I would call half a story.
Not the truth, not the whole truth. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ruth, you're awfully quiet today.
No, it's because I'm letting everyone talk. I'm sorry, it's so entertaining. Yeah, I think for me, it depends who you're with. For me personally, I believe that you should be able to stay in contact with whoever you like.
Me too.
It's how you
do it.
Deal with the person, with that ex. And to me, you can overstep. And obviously your current partner will know that you had a past relationship. So you've got to be respectful of how you are with your ex.
Yeah.
And they're an ex for a reason. So that's what I always.
That's right. That's right.
But I've a lot of guys I won't say a lot of guys because I haven't been with a lot of guys. So before anybody says,
I was gonna say.
Some of the guys I've been with, they've been very, very, very possessive when it comes to an ex, and I have to say, look, they're an ex for a reason. And I'm with you, I'm with you. I mean, if I wanted them, I'd still be with them.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
their
mean?
insecurity though, isn't it, Ruth?
Yes.
It's usually the guy's insecurity
That's
about
Yeah.
something or the other.
Because for a girl as well, if I meet I meet someone, they said, oh, this is my ex, or this is I don't want to say baby mother, but this is the mother of my children or whoever. And if she's really pretty, I said, oh, you're really lovely, you're really pretty. What did you do wrong? What did he do wrong? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that's what it is. I think that women are more likely to say, if they see an ex and she's looking fine, you'll tell her she's looking fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a different thing. So I mean, I'm not saying that some women aren't jealous or possessive, because some women are. Because even but it works both ways. But some women that they meet an ex who has a child for you, and suddenly it's no, I don't want you to say, you've got a child with them, and then they're putting a spanner in the works.
No.
So it really works both ways. But I think that ultimately you should be able to stay in contact with whoever you like.
I personally think that it's healthy to be able to be yourself in a relationship, and if that means that you are the kind of person to stay in contact with people from the past who you've had a relationship with, then so be it. You have to be yourself.
Sam?
You have to be yourself in a
adage,
relationship.
that old adage, keep your enemies close.
You know what I'm going to do now,
Oh, the
though, because
enemy.
it is actually time for us to start ending the show. So I'm going to say goodbye to you, Ruth. Bye-bye to you, Herbie. Bye-bye to you, Claudette. And bye-bye to you, Lindsay. But I'm going to ask you to stay online, Herbie and Ruth and Lindsay and Claudette, whilst myself and Julie have a bit of a talk before we come to an absolute close. It's been a really good one today again, as always. Julie, it was lovely having you as co-host.
Thank you.
Again.
I think what was good, Sam, about tonight is that the topics came from viewers' requests. Is that right to call them viewers?
Yeah.
It came from there. So these are topics that people, upon your invitation have said, oh yeah, can we discuss that? Or we'd like to discuss that and whatever. So that's a good thing. That whole interaction with, even though we can't see them, it's good to know that they're out there and they're submitting topics for the show. It's great.
Absolutely. I mean, next week we're going to hopefully be covering prostate cancer, fibroids, and cervical cancer, and we've got some specialists in the house on that day. I think we have 3 of them. They're all based in Atlanta. I know them quite well. Well, one of them I know quite well. So we should have a really good show next week.
And you know what as well, Sam, I think the last show that we discussed, the menopause and the andropause, that I think that could have been a whole nother show in itself. So even if we can touch back on the andropause and all the related things that went with it, that would be good as well.
I think next week I might make it a bit of a longer show, because those are very serious illnesses, and I'm not saying that they can cure it. Number one, you're not allowed to say that anyway. But it really does assist a lot. What they're doing. So I think maybe I might need to make it a bit of a longer show, because people probably want to have, a lot more question time. So yeah, I mean, another great show tonight, don't you think, Jules?
Absolutely, Sam. Absolutely. This started, how long are we in now? 9-10 weeks a week?
9 weeks, I think.
About 9 weeks.
9 or 10. I'm not sure. I haven't actually counted.
Well, when you look back at the topics we've covered, we've been up, down, we've been black, we've been white, we've been on the fence. You know what we've had, Sam? We've had some great debates.
That's right. And it's a place to share our diverse opinions respectfully on the Pick a Topic with Sam and Guest show. Love it. Do you know, Julie, again, it's been a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
I'm going to go to the commercial breaks now, and we are going to come to a close after that. I'm so happy that we've done yet another great show.
Brilliant.
Let's play some ads. Some brilliant guests tonight.
The reason why we are on lockdown has nothing to do with the fact of building our immune system.
Try something else for a bit, then stop. So they've been using us all as guinea pigs.
What I will do differently now is that I won't feel like I haven't got a voice because I'm not black.
Everybody's going to be dead at the same time.
I have never spoken about black on black because it's a nonsense, because most crimes are committed by non-blacks.
Let that child go to school and come back with anything and see me.
Puffy, sallow and reactive skin. Are you in need of a facial, threading, manicure, pedicure or massage to help detox or enhance immune system? G-Zone Massage Health and Beauty Therapies address all of these issues and more. Contact goz5@aol.com for further details and prices.
Time to make history.